I'm having trouble trying to sleep. I'm counting sheep but running out. As time ticks by,
Tick-tock.
still I try.
Yeah, we're warming up.
No rest for cross-tops in my mind. On my own, here we go.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You're dialed in, live and direct and in living color. I'm full of it today. You can guess what that might be. We're ready to rock. We're ready to roll. This is the experience known as the Unleashed Radio Hour. I am your host, Ron Klinger. Look. I do this at the beginning of every show. So if you're a long-time listener, you friend of the show, whatever your relationship status is with the Unleashed Radio Hour, I love for you to go out, follow along, stay connected, go out to Facebook, like the page. Yes, that is a little coaching session. The little red whistle is in the house. Like the page. Just go out and search Unleashed Radio Hour. Like the page. This is a subliminal message. You will go out on this rainy day here in Houston, and you have nothing better to do than like the Facebook page for the Unleashed Radio Hour. Hey, you hear the music? We're going to run to a quick break. I'm excited. We've got our guest online here. We're going to leave a little bit of anticipation as we get out and have a great conversation today about things that truly do matter out there in the work world. Again, this is the Unleashed Radio Hour. We'd love to have you along for today's ride. We'll be right back after these messages.
Traffic updates, business updates, stock market updates from Wall Street and around the world are on Business 1110, KTEK Alvin Houston, and Business 1110, KTEK.com.
Learn to trade and invest for yourself. Tune into AM 1110 KTEK, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. for Power Trading Hour and learn how. Or visit us at HoustonOTA.com.
Are you behind on your taxes? The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote at 800-207-1265. 800-207-1265.
This is Business 1110.
Oh, yeah, we pushing through here today on this Monday. Rainy day out there in H-Town. Hey, we're here to put a little pep in your step. A little salt and pepper. Or whatever needs a little flavor today. This is the experience known as the Unleashed Radio Hour. Again, your host, Ron Klinger. We're dialed in here direct on Business 1110 KTEK, and we are also streaming live at UnleashedRadioHour.com. Now listen, if you listen to the show at all, you know that this is about unleashing human potential. It's about putting information, tools, and resources on the airwaves to help you unleash your career and business. You also know that I am a huge advocate and proponent of the domain known as talent management, of looking at succession plans, and you know I'm extremely passionate about helping to develop and grow our next generation of leaders that must take over when, guess what? The baby boomers do decide to retire. And baby boomers, I love you. You done great. But also it's time to pass that baton, and we got to talk about how that's going to work, what that's going to be like, and how we're going to take care of business. And I'm really excited because very rarely, people always think I'm crazy. We already know that's true. The verdict is already out. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Can I get another?
Amen.
There we go. You know, we know that's how it works in here, right? We know it's just how it is. But it's always wonderful to have an opportunity to talk to somebody who, ironically, haven't met yet, but I can't wait to talk to. But what I've read that shares a common passion and purpose in the work we do. So I'm excited to bring Jennifer Kushell onto the airwaves. Jennifer, you out there with us from California?
I am. So great to be with you, Ron.
Well, can I get an amen from you, too?
Amen.
Well, hey, you better strap in out there in California because we're going to have some fun over here in H-Town. We're going to dial this in, and you did a little background before the show, and I've done a lot as well. And we have a real challenge that's out there today when we start talking about our youth, what they're doing, and getting ready for the work world. And here's what I want you to do. Tell us about YSN. What is that all about?
We started YSN. It stands for Your Success Now, and we built it as a resource for young people all over the United States, all over the world, in fact, who are struggling to kind of find their way in the world. Whether you're lost and not sure where to go next, or you're a young leader and you're fired up about opportunities but still need help and guidance. We built YSN to be a resource for them globally, and behind the scenes we do a ton of work with schools, with governments, with industries to help them better connect with young leaders and young entrepreneurs and young talent that really needs a little extra cultivation to fulfill their potential.
Yeah, no, and ladies and gentlemen, you can go out to ysn.com. Again, ysn.com. Jennifer is the relentless advocate. I love that. Relentless advocate for young leaders and entrepreneurs. Since your first year in college, she's the founder and CEO of YSN. You know, and we've had this chance, and we got to give a shout out to Ross for making sure we stayed on point, right? We've been back and forth, and I had a whole month and a half ahead of schedule already booked, which doesn't always happen, but we're glad to have you on the airwaves. So let's talk a little bit more about, what are some of the things that you do, the activities that drive and help support young folks and really creating that path or that trajectory for their launch in life?
No problem. I mean, well, we've worked on pretty much every end of the spectrum with all the major stakeholders who care about young leaders and young entrepreneurs and young people being successful, from the governments to the corporations to schools. And so we'll do everything from, I've written books. Our last book was a New York Times bestseller called Secrets of the Young and Successful. We've done curriculum that's gone into schools all over the world. I do a lot of public speaking, both to major universities and youth programs, but then also to giant corporations like, Walmart and Starwood and a lot of Fortune 500s. And so, most recently what we've been doing, which we're so thrilled about, is we basically packaged everything that we've ever learned about young people, what makes them successful going into work, and put it into an online course. And now that's being introduced into classes all over the country, and it's called Exploring Your Potential.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more, ladies and gentlemen, look, I always love giving resources. Hop out to the website, YSN, Your Success Now, ysn.com. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can learn a little bit more. Got a great little take a peek at the Exploring Your Potential course that Jen just referred to. Now listen, you've done enough, where we can probably dance on this topic all day long.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jen, why have we arrived at this point? And before you answer that, I want that to buzz around a little bit, because a lot of people, they'll just figure it out, because didn't we as a generation just figure it out, and didn't they say that about us when we were boomers? My humble opinion is we're at a very unique, different time. Not saying that younger generations won't get it. It's just the circumstances around where we've arrived are different. Would you agree?
I totally agree. The world is changing very fast. The pace of innovation is unlike any we've ever seen in the world. And that's dramatically impacting the way that organizations function, industries function, even countries and governments. And so we have to train young people for work differently than we have in the past. Yes, of course, you're going to find your way one way or another, but I'm not a big fan of just haphazardly wandering into the working world. I think we all are driven by certain things. We all have certain passions, and if we can align what we do for a living with those things, our life is infinitely more satisfying and successful because of it. So, you can just kind of be passive with it and see what happens, and that's fine. But if you really want to do something significant, if you want to take control and ownership of your life, if you want to sculpt your own destiny, I think there's a tremendous amount that we can be doing that most of the time we just aren't.
Well, and I think that's the key that you hit is that rapid acceleration. We are in a service and knowledge economy. We're no longer in the days of true in-depth industrial and manufacturing jobs. It's a different work environment that requires people to be able to relate and get along with a different set of skills to help people be successful. And we can't keep doing what we've always done, because we know what that means, right?
For sure. I mean, listen, we see every day on the news certain industries that are struggling like crazy to stay alive, and a lot of those are labor-driven jobs where talent, isn't necessarily critical. The more we can cultivate our minds, the more we can think critically, the more we can think like economists, act like entrepreneurs, step outside of our comfort zone and really follow the trends. look beyond what's right in front of us at what's evolving. Those are the things that are going to make sure that we have lifelong employment.
Well, and absolutely. And one of the key things I think that is a misnomer. Now, I'm a Gen Xer. How about you? Are you a Gen Xer as well?
Yes, absolutely.
So we could commiserate probably over something stronger than coffee about being the sandwich generation.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, for listeners who may not be aware, I knew you could pick up on that, is we are literally sandwiched between the two largest generations in U.S. history. Formerly the baby boomers, now the millennial generation. And the problem is, for us Xers, if we can talk about this for just a moment here, there's not enough of us that are sustaining in that dialogue and that conversation about these talent needs because everyone's focusing on the two generations on either side of us. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely would. And I mean, I think our generation has traditionally been underrepresented to a large extent because of our sheer numbers. It's actually funny you bring it up because the whole way my entire career started was by going out and talking in the media about why young people in the Gen X world as we came of age weren't necessarily the slackers everyone thought that we were, but we were actually some of the most entrepreneurial people in history. And so I got in front of hundreds of millions of people in the press, and that's what launched my career, trying to kick back and say, no, we're not silent, we're not slackers, we're much more active in the workforce than people realize. And right now, as the generations are evolving, I think that Gen X is actually doing a tremendous amount to mentor and support and cultivate this new generation coming up.
No, and that's where we share the common thread in the work that we do day in and day out when we're not just here on the airwaves on the Unleashed Radio Hour on Business 1110. Both of us are engaged in activities that are about passing that baton, about being that bridge builder between the boomers exiting and the millennials coming in. And I think sometimes, Jen, we get confused as Xers because of our ability to be fully independent as not being team players, when the reality is we were grown. And we've grown up being independent because we've taken care of ourselves and our siblings, and we don't need that micromanagement supervision.
It's so true. I mean, we were trained to fill in the gaps, to make things happen when things weren't happening. And so we became very entrepreneurial and very proactive. And I think that that's a really important message that this new generation really needs to see, that you can't sit back and wait for things to happen in your life. You have to go after them. And when there are problems, you have to actively deal with them and address them. So, I mean, I think we both share this, especially with the concept of Unleashed Radio. Playing a passive role in your own life is just a sad way to live.
No, absolutely, and it is about gaining that awareness of driving in that direction. And so we've talked a little bit about us Xers because, and I think that's critical to understand because I think a lot of companies and businesses, they're caught in the lexicon of what's popular out there of everything millennial and everything millennial. And I want to caution them to hit the pause button a little bit and look internally and say, who do we have that has the potential that we might be overlooking that may not fit that mold?
It's a great question, and often potential doesn't show itself so easily, or often it doesn't show itself in the most traditional forms. And I mean, every day you can see on television stories of great leaders, great entrepreneurs who started, being, the ones in society that didn't really fit in, the ones that struggled, maybe they got kicked out of school. Oftentimes the disruptors are the ones who have the greatest potential for success if they're channeled properly. If not, they can become, disruptive to society, even dangerous to society. But I think we have to all keep our minds and our eyes open for people who show potential and recognize that potential doesn't always show itself in good grades or college degrees or or traditional career paths. When we teach about the new world of work and the new range of opportunities available to young people, especially the entrepreneurial ones, I think you see people unleashed like wildfire, and it's exciting.
Oh, and I love how you worked that unleashed in there, Jen. I loved how you did that.
I thought you would.
we're going to go to a break here in just about a minute, but I want to put something up there, and maybe we'll start, and the break will stop us. Okay, let's see. I feel like we're having a connecting moment because one of the things that I think we have done a disservice to, and in this, I want to come back and talk about this new work world, however we want to articulate that, right?
Yeah.
But I think we've sold this message for a very long time of the following: go to high school, go to college, get a job. And we've done that for about the last 15 to 20, 25 years, nonstop, cramming it down people's throats. My challenge is, that's why we currently have, if you go out and look, ladies and gentlemen, just go Google college debt. I just did it here in studio. First thing that comes up from May 17th of 2017 is we're sitting on $1.4 trillion in student loan debt. That can't be good for that new work world that we're going to talk about, learn about, when we come back right after these messages.
Looking for straight answers to your financial questions? Tune in weekday mornings from 8 to 9 for Straight Talk Money, hosted by Mike Robertson. No hype, no infomercials, just plain talk to give you the information you need to make you a better investor. We may not be able to control the future, but we can learn to control how it impacts us. Listen to Straight Talk Money, hosted by Mike Robertson, weekdays 8 to 9 a.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
Are you living with pain? So was Lisa, a brave Marine wounded in Iraq.
After surviving an explosion, I was on horrible painkillers. I tried 1-hour pain relief, and now I'm pain-free all day without dangerous side effects. And it works in less than 1 hour.
Try it free for 1 week and pay only the shipping with no automatic shipments. Call 800-269-4200 right now or visit onehourpainrelief.com. That's 800-269-4200. 800-269-4200.
Attention managers, business owners, and human resources professionals. Do you struggle with positively engaging and developing your team? Hi, this is Ron Klinger, host of the Unleashed Radio Hour. For over a decade, I have been coaching and helping leaders just like you. From management and leadership training to individual coaching and support, I can help you address the everyday challenges you face in your business or organization. If you're looking for a partner to your success, call the man who can help you with your plan. You can reach me online at motivationaltransitions.com or by phone at 832-746-9760.
This is Business 1110.
Yeah! Love that! Why do I love that? Because we're rocking to some of the jams and the tunes that are generationally tagged on my generation. Ha! Little final countdown by Europe. Love it, love it. Hey, and it is the final countdown. We've been talking. Jennifer Kushell is with us today. We're talking about this new work world in our youth, and are they ready? And so my question, Jen, are they ready?
I can't make a blanket statement and say yes or no, but I think...
I tried. I baited. It didn't work.
Yeah. Across the board, I think young people are struggling globally with being prepared, and often because they don't even know what they need to do to be prepared. We're not being clear with them about what they have going for them and what they don't. And when you look at the statistics, you find that young people think overwhelmingly that they're far more prepared than the companies and organizations believe they are. So the other thing that we're finding now as we roll out Exploring Your Potential is that over 70% of the young people that are taking our courses are saying that they're lacking the personal confidence that they need to go out and pursue the things that they're interested in, if they even know what that is.
Where do you think, I have my thoughts, but I'm interested, Jen, to see what you believe. Where do you think some of that lack of self-confidence or that intestinal fortitude, if you want to call it that, where does that come from?
Well, I think a lot of it is, they've had such a set path. When you're in education, there's such a set path for most of your life to tell you what to do and what the rules of success are. But the minute you walk out into the work world, things are not so black and white. And that's where there's so much uncertainty that hits young people in the head. If they have had no work experience whatsoever before graduating, it's a stark contrast to what they're used to, and they find themselves greatly unprepared and in a completely different setting.
Yeah.
And so I think the more we coach and coddle them, I think they need coaching, they need support, there's no question, but if we coddle them and try to take away any pain, any frustration, any struggle, we're actually ill-preparing them for the world, because obviously we all know as adults that you struggle all the time. you have to learn the fortitude and learn the perseverance to succeed, regardless of what your circumstances are. So I think we have to train young people in a lot of different ways, one of which is, basic strength and fortitude and tenacity, proactive thinking, critical thinking. But there's also a whole slew of other things.
Well, and I think, but I think you hit the nail on the head, too, because, and I agree with this, and I actually have talked about this in the past, and when I get out and about is, and I loved your background, and we can have folks share this in a minute, because when I was young, I was a kid that grew up in the Midwest, where I lived in a part of Ohio that was known as the snow belt country, meaning you would get lake effect snow coming off of Lake Erie. You could literally walk out. I know California, unless you're in Northern California, you're not getting any of this, but you could literally walk outside and it'd be waist high overnight because that's how much moisture was brought across. Well, what did I do? That's not being done today. I went knocking door to door with my buddy that I went over and knocked on his door and said, hey, let's go shovel driveways. Let's go remove the snow for these people. And we literally went out for 8 hours straight. Because school was canceled. School was canceled. So what am I going to do? Sit in the house? No, let's go make some money.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, listen, that's the basic concept of economics, supply and demand. When there's a demand for something or a need for something, fill it. And if you can fill it and learn to do that, for work, you can find opportunity anywhere you go in the world.
But it also it deals with one of those things that I think that resiliency is the word I like to use that is lacking today, is that ability to bounce back when someone says no or you don't get exactly what it is that you wanted.
Well, people are very sensitive now. I think we've tried so hard not to make people feel bad about themselves that we've taken it too far. And now there's so much sensitivity training, and, training and development is now leadership training, even though everyone's not a leader, clearly. I think we're trying so hard to make everyone feel special that, sometimes no one ends up being special.
Yeah, no, hey, I've dropped my own rant on the whole snowflake perspective. And unfortunately, and I think you, based upon our synergy already, I think you'll agree, the problem is, and I'd like to digest this a little bit more and talk about how we can be of help and get it to the positive. What we're not recognizing is that we've created this as a society. We have created this issue, this challenge, this problem by what we have done. In my humble opinion, it goes back to parenting behaviors and changes in parenting with this generation that they're now realizing maybe that wasn't the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And also, but I mean, the world's also changing in another way, too.
Yep.
When we were in our teens and our 20s, people didn't give young people a chance the way they do today.
No, today, you got to, hey, and I want to take that chance to tell that story, but Jen, I got to run real quick. We got to go to a break. We're going to come back and we're going to continue that, get that chance. What does that mean for our youth today, getting out in the work world? We'll dial in. We'll talk about it when we come right back.
Writing a Christian book, you're doing an amazing thing, getting it all down on paper. But once you've got the manuscript, then what? Well, you can spend a year or more trying to find a publisher, or you can cut right to the chase. Make your book real with Zulon Press. Finding a publisher is time-consuming and uncertain. With Zulon Press, things are quick and definite. They specialize in one thing, helping Christian authors put their books in print. Zulon Press will publish your book. Zulon Press gets it into bookstores. Your book is on Amazon. Work with Zulon Press and there's no question, you are a published author. If you're writing a Christian book, get your free publishing guide from Zulon Press. Just log on to ChristianPublishing.com. That's ChristianPublishing.com. Zulon Press. Book publishing by Christians for Christians. Get your free publishing guide at ChristianPublishing.com. Zulon Press is a division of Salem Communications, the same people who bring you this nifty radio station.
This is Business 1110.
Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
Yeah, if you can see in the studio, my head's bobbing. We're getting down because here on the Unleashed Radio Hour, every day we hustling too. Hey, just like you are out there dialed in, we appreciate you listening. Hey, you want to get into this conversation? We would love. Okay, my voice, I can't go. Might just look like, don't do that again. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Hey, call in 713-785-1817. Give us a ring if you're going to get in this conversation with Jen and myself. We're dialed in 713-785-1817. Or if you're a little bit more introverted, that's okay too. It's all good. You don't want to get on the airwaves. Send us a text at 281-892-1972. I've got the text line open here, the Motivational Transitions text line, 281-892-1972. All right, Jen, I didn't mean to cut you off on that break there. We were talking about, giving youth a chance. What was that all about?
Oh, I think we have to show them more context. I mean, to spin it into the proactive, perspective that we're talking about anyway, I think we have to show people more context. Give them a chance to see what the world looks like from their own perspective, not just from the perspective of their parents or the people who are in their immediate environment, but let them find chances to go far, get on a plane and travel, go try to spend time with different groups. The internet is one of the most beautiful things in the world because it gives us the most powerful tool called Google, which you can literally research anything, and you can actually find your tribe. You can find people who believe in the things that you believe in, who are passionate about the same things, and you can get to industry conferences. You can get to events. You can find online forums. There's so many ways that you can become active and engaged in the things that you're interested in, and that's when your awareness of what's possible opens up dramatically.
No, I agree, and I've noticed, and interested from your perspective, I've noticed a lot that term tribe is popping up more and more and more these days. Where's that come from your perspective?
I first heard it from Seth Godin, who's one of the most brilliant business writers out there. I had a chance to interview him a couple months ago for a magazine, and he came up with the concept of it was Seth Godin, tribes. Talking about finding your people in the world. And that was so powerful to me because, I remember being 13 years old and being an entrepreneur and no one understanding who I was and feeling so alone. And it wasn't until I found a conference of other young entrepreneurs when I was like 18 or something that I felt, oh, my God, that was I wasn't so crazy. I wasn't so different. There were other people like me. And then all I wanted to do was just bring more and more people together.
Yeah, no, and I can relate to that because some people, when you mention, because I am an entrepreneur as well, and you mention that's what you do, they're like, how do you do that? And they think it's all sexy. Well, it isn't all sexy all the time, is it?
Well, it's not sexy when you feel like you're alone and you're different
Amen.
than everyone else. But when you find that you're just one of many people, or even a small group of people who believe the same, it's very empowering. And then, like me, I wasn't happy that there were so few of us. I realized that there were more, but we weren't organized. And so, I guess I had a leadership gene in me or something that inspired me, and I said, I want to find others. And everywhere I went, I found that there were other young people who were excited about being entrepreneurs, who were excited about building things, starting organizations. And I said, well, let's figure out a way to get them together, to give them resources. And since literally 93, I've been building, online networks and communities and resources for young people everywhere. And now we have a following from over 160 countries.
Wow. And now that goes and that speaks to, again, back to that tribe perspective that you just shared, that people have a sense and a need and a desire. Human beings, we're not meant to be in isolation. We're meant to connect with others. Yeah. And it's so powerful that we connect with others that have those common threads. Hey, speaking of common thread, it's time to boogie. Hey, we got to take a quick break. We're going to run to that break, Jen. We're going to come back, talk some more about these wonderful things. Hey, what's this get a job? Why does that get offensive to people? What does that really mean? Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we come back. This is the Unleashed Radio Hour on Business 1110, KTEK.
The following update is for drivers who pay too much for car insurance due to DUIs, DWIs, tickets, or anything else. By now, you know all too well that SR22 auto insurance is way more than you'd ever want to pay. You probably thought you didn't have a choice, but you were wrong. Our company specializes in low-cost, very affordable SR22 auto insurance for high-risk drivers. We know that mistakes happen, so take pride in being able to offer absolutely free quotes for this very affordable auto insurance meant specifically for you, the overpaying high-risk driver. We're standing by at 800-749-2984. The only thing you need to do is stop waiting around while your monthly payments stay as high as they are. Our knowledgeable representatives are ready for your call at 800-749-2984. The quote is free, and we'll even handle the filings so you could start saving money every month even sooner. Call 800-749-2984. That's 800-749-2984. Once more, 800-749-2984.
This is Business 1110.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Ha! Little AC/DC rocking in that background. Love it. Hey, we're dialed in here today. We're rocking. We are absolutely rolling today. Having a great discussion with Jennifer Kushell. Jennifer, I'm glad I went out and looked. I may have mispronounced your last name if I didn't have your own intro. You got YouTube videos out there galore that they can go out and find, right? Go out to ysn.com. Go out to LinkedIn. Find Jennifer out there doing some great work. You know, and today, speaking of great work, we've been talking about what is this job conversation really looking like? You know, we got a nice long segment where we can kind of peel away at some of the layers and have some dialogue here. But, you know, what is that whole piece, that term, get a job? You know, you put that in the notes before the show. Talk to me. Tell me more.
I actually think, you know, this conversation about drilling young people to go get a job is actually destructive to a large extent. And let me unpack this for a minute. Young people today are under enormous amount of pressure to find work in an unsure economy, in an uncertain economy. There's a lot of negativity on the news. Their parents, you know, have struggled in many different ways. You know, so there's a lot of uncertainty out there. And on top of the fact that they're transitioning from a safe, secure educational environment typically into a working world, which they know very little about. So this concept of get a job causes most young people to avoid the topic until they're at the very end before they graduate. You'll find that only about 10% of students on the average college campus will go to a career center, meaning they're avoiding it completely until the very end. Then I think what happens is that then they get thrown into the career center. Like you said, you know, they go to school and then they get married and they buy a house and they get a job and they stay there forever. The world's changed very much. Yep. And the idea that you wait until the very end of your college experience, run to the career center, go into heavy resume building and interview process, I think freaks people out. And that's why they're so scared, because they're saying, I don't want to interview with the five companies that are on campus, and I don't know what to put in a resume, and this is not the way I want to present myself. And so I think the whole model needs to be redeveloped or reexamined. And when we say get a job, we put young people into a state of panic. They wind up taking almost anything that's available to them without really paying attention to if it fits them, if they're a good cultural fit, or if they even add significant value. Well, and when you have someone who, and I mean, you know this from the employer world, it's called discretionary effort. Yep. When someone's in a job that they don't like, their discretionary effort, the amount of effort they choose to put into their work, is very much decreased from what it would be if you loved your work. And oftentimes people are working at only half their actual capacity, if not a quarter of their capacity or less. And if you think about that, and you're just trying to get a job, you have to start to try to think from the other side. Think about how this impacts the companies, how this impacts the economy. Companies don't thrive because people are filling spots. They're not looking for warm bodies. They're looking for talent. Talent helps organizations grow. It helps the other people in an organization thrive. It helps the economy grow. You know, when we just shove people into jobs for the sake of getting a job, we make them miserable, we make their families miserable, and we make them less productive. And as a result, the companies and industries and even countries are less productive.
No, you're preaching the choir. I'll give you an amen. And I put it in terms, you know, to me, there's a two-way dialogue that doesn't exist enough, and between not only current or prospective employees and employers. You know, the Holy Grail, as I like to say on the show, and if you remember, we're searching for the Holy Grail, right, from Monty Python. The Holy Grail out there, I think on both sides of that equation, for me, it's that engagement level. And you said it, do I have purpose in the work that I'm doing, or am I just showing up for a paycheck? And because a lot of young people today don't have any work experience, don't have any of that, had to go do a little bit. And I'm not saying go out and earn an annual salary, but building a base of what do I like and what do I not like, and I'm making very well-informed decisions about that career path.
Of course, and you're never going to discover what you like and don't like unless you go out and try things. And I think we're so ingrained now to avoid failure and avoid doing something wrong that oftentimes people don't even try because they're too scared that they're not going to like something. And what they don't realize is that finding out that you don't like a certain job is actually an amazing experience, because it teaches you something that you can bring forward the rest of your career. But you've got to go out and try other things and keep trying things until you find what you like. And in the process, by circling an industry, by circling a career path, you're building experience on top of itself. So the more you cultivate experience from a certain area that is related, you're building experience in that career path versus jumping all over the place aimlessly. So I think we really do all have to constantly come back to who are we, what matters to us, what kind of impact do we want to make in the world, in our community, in our family, and how can we put our talents and our interests to play economically. Because if we're not doing what we love in the world, we're doing it on the side, and then we become resentful of what we actually do for a living because we only have a little bit of time to do the stuff we really do love. So I think why even go through that when you can start from the beginning, focus on what you like, what you love, find a way to do that for a living, and go forward and prosper.
So Jen, $1 million question. When's the right time to start that path and journey? What do you think? I got my thoughts, but what do you think?
The minute you have that thought in your head, the minute you question that is the minute you should be starting. When you realize there's more out there for you, when you realize you're not happy, when you realize that things could be better, that's exactly the moment you need to stop and look at your life differently and look at your responsibility in shaping and sculpting that life with a whole different sense of responsibility.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So that is one of those where things aren't balancing. I got a fun little fast story that I'll share with you. I think it starts at an early age when you identify things that you become inquisitive of, that you lose yourself in time and do it. And I'm talking, case in point, I've got a 12-year-old daughter. And my daughter loves this creative world of arts and pictures and drawing. So the last 2 years for her little brother's baseball team, you'll love this story, she's taken action shots of the games. The parents are like, wow, Audrey, nice. You do a great job. Well, she just so happened to have a class in 6th grade that taught them about business and business philosophies and what does it take and a budget. And she looked at this and was like, wow, wouldn't it be really cool if I could take pictures for other teams? So we did it. So we just did this little, not formal or anything yet, but this action shots caught by Audra. And the teams paid her to come out to the ballpark and to take these action shots so that the parents could watch the games. And guess what? Not only did she love it, but she learned more about baseball, that she loves baseball. And I'm like, this is what it's supposed to be, is nurturing that passion. Exactly. When it's identified instead of squelching it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to put my opinion on this. Parents, FYI, it's not about you. Their life's the one they got to live, and you need to support them in that exploration when those sparks fly.
It's so true. Just because we don't understand what our kids or younger people might be looking at or the ideas, or we don't believe that they're profitable or that there's an opportunity there, doesn't mean we shouldn't let them explore it. And this is a perfect example. A lot of people look at their creative kids and say, hey, you're never going to make money, go study something else. I do believe everyone should study business and entrepreneurship because it teaches you to do things with the stuff that you love, regardless of what it is. But that example that you helped her cultivate that into taking pictures of her team and then other sports teams. Take it another level. What if she hired other people to go out and do even more? She could have a handful of people going out and taking that. She could even create a franchise. She's probably a little too young legally to do it, but by the time she's 18 or 21 years old, she could literally have a franchise of young people who are entrepreneurs in business for themselves taking pictures for sports teams.
Absolutely. Learning a skill, learning a trade, learning to show up on time, learning to follow through with commitments. And it was like a great, I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity as a dad, because here it is. I get to pass on some of that entrepreneurialistic aspect to her to say, hey, look, go. I'm not going to stop you. What if? What could be? And I think that's part of the challenge that we face, Jen, and I'm not sure if you agree. We've lost that what if and what could be approach to kids being kids.
I totally agree. And I think, there's a great book. I haven't read it yet, but I've been dying to, called Free Range Kids. and it's all about letting kids run free and discover things for themselves. And one thing I want to mention, too, is a couple years ago we did the first psychographic study on young entrepreneurs. This was a long time ago in the 90s, but we broke it in the Wall Street Journal. And one of the most important findings that we found was that the average 18-year-old that was already a millionaire in their own business had started at least 3 businesses beforehand and had been, researching and trying things for years. And so your 12-year-old, it's very likely that now that she's had this business, she'll start another and maybe another and maybe another. And whether she ends up an entrepreneur or not, she's never going to leave her fate up to other people. She's always going to take advantage of opportunity that's in front of her and try things. And she knows that she can find opportunity anywhere she is now.
No, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, she is fearless in that angle. And what's funny is it went from baseball to now, and we are in Texas, and I know California is pretty big too, just not as big here as in Texas. Football season's about to fire up here in Texas as well. And so the recent conversation was, hey, could you take pictures of the football games and do this?
Yeah.
So it becomes, she's like, and here's the key, ladies and gentlemen, and if you agree, give me an amen at the end of this, Jen. When you see your sons and daughters light up with energy, excitement, harness that, capture it, and encourage it.
Amen. I love that.
Very good, very good. So, hey, we got a couple, we got some time. Talk a little bit about, where can folks find you? What's some good information? We got 2 minutes here before we go to that next break, and how could you help leverage? What's some of the work that you're doing with your success now that really can make a difference out there?
Thank you. Thank you for asking. I'd say the most exciting thing we've ever done, literally 23 years of work for me, is all baked into this new product that we just built called Exploring Your Potential. And it's a career readiness course that literally schools, including Texas A&M, are bringing in and making mandatory for their students to take.
Sorry, I'm an Aggie. I had to put that in there for you. You got to whoop when people say A&M. Whoop!
Yes. I'm really, really excited because we're helping to frame the world of work differently for young people. We're showing them how exciting it is, how much opportunity there is, that your life is an adventure. But we're also really drilling down. We have 24 different, sections in this, covering everything from who are you, what matters to you, what are the biggest dreams you've had, what's the spectrum of opportunity really look like, regardless of what your interests are. How do you take a taste of different things? How do you package yourself? Make sure that you're really earning credibility and respect, building expertise. How do you package yourself online? Tell your story in all your social media in a way that's impactful and beneficial to your success and not harmful. Even really looking at important things like core competencies, like we talked about before. When people say that young people are missing the critical skills, often it's things like critical thinking or being proactive or being able to present themselves live in person when they're so used to being on a cell phone all the time. So we're really drilling down into major topic areas that completely transform the way young people and really anyone, young professionals, how they function in the world.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to come back. We're going to piggyback on that a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, you're dialed in. This is the Unleashed Radio Hour on Business 1110 KTEK.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote. Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-207-1265. 800-207-1265. 800-207-1265.
Attention managers, business owners, and human resources professionals. Do you struggle with positively engaging and developing your team? Hi, this is Ron Klinger, host of the Unleashed Radio Hour. For over a decade, I have been coaching and helping leaders just like you. From management and leadership training to individual coaching and support, I can help you address the everyday challenges you face in your business or organization. If you're looking for a partner to your success, call the man who can help you with your plan. You can reach me online at motivationaltransitions.com or by phone at 832-746-9760.
This is Business 1110.
Oh, yeah. Now, if that don't get you moving, if that don't get you shaking and baking, then you need to get to the doctor and get your pulse checked, because I'm moving and grooving in here, white boy trying to have some moves. Hey, we're dialed in here. Look, and that's how we always come into this segment. Jen, I've got you on the hang here. I love that song, too. But look, I've got something, and if you go out to Unleashed Radio Hour on Facebook, yes, that is the bait and the hook. Go out to Unleashed Radio Hour on Facebook. There is this great artistic rendition of Jen that I've posted out there that I found. I do my homework, right? And it is the quote of the day that I'm using in this Be Positive segment. And it dials in exactly in our conversation. I did this earlier today, so it is absolute by divine intervention, and it goes as follows. Never let anyone dictate what you are capable of. That's totally up to you. It's a personal decision, and you have to decide how far you want to go in the world and what you're willing to do to make it happen. And that is from our guest here on the show today, Jennifer Kushell. Jennifer, how apropos is that to the conversation we're having offline and online?
I love that you found that. Thank you.
Oh, it's awesome. And the artist whoever that is fabulous.
Yeah. I think that came from Finland, I believe.
Yep, it came off the Life-Changing Secret site. I just happened to put quotes because I always like to use a quote in our Be Positive segment of the day to get that good vibe out there, but it also jives in to what you were telling me about how to go forward. So go ahead and share that message here.
Yeah, I think, if we leave everyone with anything today, I would love to say that, every single one of us has an opportunity every day to shake up our own opportunity in the world, to increase it, to get more access to it, whether that means a job or a business or volunteer opportunities. Our life can be as dynamic as we want it to be, just like, that quote said. And I think there are a few things that we can do. One, talk to a new person every day. Everywhere you go, meet someone new. Just have a conversation online at coffee, whatever it is. Spend some time researching. Instead of watching your favorite TV show for hours on end, do some research on the stuff that's interesting to you. Find the industry experts, find the newsletters, find the conferences, find the Twitter streams, and follow them. Learn from them, engage with them, and find ways to go out and meet and be a part of the worlds that you find interesting. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to start a new business. Just engage. Get out there and talk to people. Listen to the things that they're posting, and start to make yourself more aware and more comfortable with worlds that live and exist beyond where you live right now. And over time, you'll realize that there are opportunities for all of us to keep going and growing.
Absolutely. Hey, that's a great close. We're going to come back for our last final segment with Jen right after these messages.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066.
This is Business 1110.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've been rocking and we absolutely have been rolling. Some of us a lot easier than others. Here on the Unleashed Radio Hour today, here on Business 1110 KTEK. Hey, Jen, it's been an absolute pleasure having this dialogue. I feel we have to have some offline dialogue as well, post-haste after this show. But real quick, give folks information. Where can they reach out? What do you really need to have them know before we have to call this show a close?
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. You can go to ysn.com. You can learn about exploring your potential there. There's also contact information there. They can send us a note. And I also just want to say thank you to our partners, Bloomberg Business Week and Peregrine Academic, who have made our work possible over the past few years. No,
absolutely. And if there was a parting, your last shot to give out there, what would that be for folks?
God, I would just say opportunity is everywhere, and if you believe in yourself, you can go find it anytime you want.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right. See? Hey, we got to keep it real here, or as I like to say, it's too legit to quit. Here on the Unleashed Radio Hour. Jen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Again, to learn more, ladies and gentlemen, I think the best place to get started is go out to ysn.com. Your success now, ysn.com. Jen, it has absolutely been a pleasure having you on the airwaves. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ladies, and just like that, hey, it goes quick. It is an hour packed full of information, tools, and resources to help you unleash your career and business. Again, it's just, that's how it goes. If you want to learn more, hop out to UnleashedRadioHour.com. Again, UnleashedRadioHour.com to learn more. Hey, and look, if you're listening to the streaming live, thank you. If you listen live on the airwaves, thank you. But if you also listen, you may be listening as the podcast. Go out, dial in more. Go out to UnleashedRadioHour.com. Click on that podcast link. Share this information. Share the resources. That's why I do the show. Get the information out so that other people can go and grow. And again, as always, it is an honor. It is a privilege to be on the airwaves with you. And we've got some great content coming up. We're going to return. The setup's going to be back in here in studio. I have the gift and the honor of having a former colleague in my graduate program who has written a book on leadership and the stories we tell. So we're going to have Esther Choi on with us here in a couple of weeks. A lot of great information lined up for your summer. A summer of learning, a summer of growth, and a summer of unleashing your career and business. Again, to follow along, hop out to UnleashedRadioHour.com. Stay connected on Facebook. You can get the Be Positive quote of the day out there from Jennifer Kushell, who is with Your Success Network, Your Success Now. Get out there, ysn.com. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, it is an honor and it is a privilege. Until next week, see ya!